Do you make excuses for only a few minutes left when you're emailing? It's like, oh, only one more prompt. There's only gonna be one more prompt and then I'm done. And then you're never done. I know. Claude Cowork Dispatch is out, which allows us to work on the go, but I'm not sure that's a good thing. Let me ask you, from a scale of 1 to 10, how good has been that you can reach your emails on the go, that you can use your Slack on the go on your phone, that you can use WhatsApp to handle work-related stuff on the go, and it's becoming harder and harder to switch off. Although I haven't yet used Claude Dispatch, I have used Claude Code with a Telegram connection so I could talk to it on the go. And I had days when I was working 14 hours a day, and I had days when I worked around 12 to 14 hours with Claude Code, just using it for knowledge work, not development stuff. And I remember it wasn't good. I was constantly on my phone. I was working while I was working out. So as I was on the foam roller, I did send the task to Claude Code. And then 5 minutes later, I was already checking if it got back to me with a response. And I remember it was already past midnight. I should have been bed by that point, but I was still on my phone with Telegram giving a few tasks to Claude Code so it could work a little bit longer while I was sleeping. And I could only sustain that for around a week. It felt like God tier productivity, but then I crashed. And then for the next week, I could barely get anything done and I couldn't get myself to sit in front of the computer. I had a bunch of issues with my mental health, depression, anxiety. So I know what it's like when your mental health is not in the right place. So before I get into showing you how you can use Claude Cowork Dispatch and how you can connect it to your phone, I want to show you something else. This is a study on smartphone use side by side with burnout. And here's the key finding. And they say the main results show that compulsive use of the smartphone is positively and expressively related to burnout, with compulsive users reporting more symptoms of burnout. In addition, this study shows the mediating power of negative work-family interactions and loneliness in the relationship between compulsive smartphone use and burnout, with this effect being positive and significant. Now, this was a smaller study with 228 Portuguese workers, so obviously it has some limitations, but smartphones have been around for a long, long time, and this study was done in 2022 May. So it takes a long time for science to catch up to these new technological things and to really see how they affect us. I also found and read this study this morning on the brain anatomy alterations and mental health challenges correlate to email addiction tendency. That's the title. And the main thing is this. We found that email addiction tendency scores were significantly negatively correlated with nonverbal reasoning. Where in this study, where they wanted to develop an email addiction tendency scale to evaluate email addiction correlation to behavior and brain structure. And they also use a certain protocol in MRI, and they studied healthy young adults with over 1,100 participants. What they found is that email addiction tendency scores were significantly negatively correlated with non-verbal reasoning. Email addiction tendency scores were significantly and positively correlated with depression symptom severity and gray matter volume of the left rostrolateral prefrontal cortex. These results indicate that email addiction tendency is associated with lower mental health outcomes. Now, we don't know if AI agent management from your phone is actually similar to email, but I think from a behavioral perspective, being always on, always having the ability to just get a quick task in, I think it's very, very similar. And I think it's gonna take years until the science catches up on the effects that AI has on us. So before you rush into installing OpenClaw and having a million AI agents, or using Claude Cowork with Dispatch always, I encourage that you exercise a little more caution when it comes to adopting these new and groundbreaking tools. They also define what they mean by behavioral addiction. They say that behavioral addiction to technology such as email addiction and mobile phone addiction can be defined as excessive use and intermittent cravings. Excessive use means that you use it more than you want to, And intermittent cravings means that you have an urge to use it even when you're not using it. And I want you to pay attention to this sentence. Specifically, significant research into email and its impact on our lives is lacking in 2022. Nowadays, checking the email is an inevitable part of our daily activities. Yet only in 2022 do we have some kind of study that is trying to correlate that to what is email doing with our brain. So here we have the 20-question email addiction tendency score questionnaire, and I want you to just swap email to Cowork or any one of these AI tools that you're using. Have you ever co-worked longer than you expected? Have you neglected to study because you spend a lot of time with Claude Cowork? And this was done on young participants who are well educated and they were probably in universities. So studying was something they should have been doing. Maybe for us, it's better to swap this out. To have you neglected to sleep, to eat well, to clean your apartment, to do a workout because you spent a lot of time working with AI agents. Do you ever choose to spend more time with the stimulus you get by email rather than making friends with your friends? So again, swap out email to Cowork. Have anyone around you complain about the time you spend working with AI agents? Do you want to work with AI agents like Claude Cowork Dispatch when you have other things to do? When asked what you are doing by AI agents, do you defend yourself or become secretive? Are you conscious of yourself looking forward to the next prompt? Because the next $1 million business is just one prompt away. It's like gambling. It's like you send the next prompt and boom, you have your life changed. And it's always the next prompt. God damn it. Do you ever feel anxious that life without AI agents would be boring, empty, and dreadful? Maybe I have a problem too. If someone interrupts you while you are AI agenting, do you bluntly say back, scream, or get annoyed? Can I get sleep deprived because I use AI agents at midnight? Oh my God, this is the exact example that I gave you even without knowing that this is going to be here. Yeah. So I've seen that I have a problem and now I'm not using Claude Code on the go and I try to limit this impulse to work with AI agents. Do you think about working with AI agents when you're not working with AI agents or fantasize about AI agent working? Do you make excuses for only a few minutes left when you're emailing? It's like, oh, only one more prompt. It's only gonna be one more prompt and then I'm done. And then you're never done. I know. Have you ever tried shortening your AI agenting time and failed? Do you want to hide from people how long you have been using AI agents? Have you ever opted to spend more time exchanging messages with AI agents instead of going out with others? So just sit with these kinds of questions for a second and see if you might already have a problem. I know of people, myself included, where I have an idea and I know that AI could do it and all I need to do was just open the computer and send the prompt. Now I can grab my smartphone and send the prompt there. But this kind of compulsive use is what's going to lead us down the wrong path. Whether you are doing the work or whether you are managing someone or an AI doing the work, you are still working. So I think everything is good in moderation. Email on the go has its time in our lives, but it's definitely not a 10 out of 10 productivity boost. And actually, where it gives, it also takes away. Which reminds me of this brand new article that Anthropic published 15 hours ago, as of me recording this, where they use their AI interviewer to understand what 81,000 people want from AI. And it's a long study, people going through what they want from AI, are they getting what they want, and what people are concerned about. And I specifically want to talk about the light and shade, where these things are two sides of the same coin. You want learning, which 30% have seen it, 3% expected, and then you are worried about cognitive atrophy. So if you use AI for learning, you're not using your brain for learning that much. Heavy AI user from United States says, I don't think as much as I used to. I struggle to put the ideas I do have into words. People want and see better decision making, and they are worried about unreliability. A researcher from the US says, I got caught in what I now recognize as a large, slow hallucination. Answers that were internally consistent, confident, and wrong in subtle but compounding ways. But it's also good because a person from Brazil says, my son had several confusing diagnoses pointing toward an autoimmune condition, but here we managed to understand it was a different condition in a severe stage. Another one, people want emotional support. 16% mention this as a benefit, but they are worried about emotional dependence. 12% mentioned this as a harm. I started telling Claude about things I couldn't even tell my partner. It felt like I was having an emotional affair. Another one, people want and see time saving. 50% mentioned this as a benefit, but they're worried about illusory productivity. This is what I'm talking about. The ratio of my work time to rest time hasn't changed at all. You just have to run faster and faster to stay in place. People want economic empowerment. They want $1 million businesses, one-person $1 million companies. But people in general are worried about economic displacement. So for example, we have a healthcare worker in the US says, I've never touched the backend of software in my life, but Claude helped me launch an app. And then a writer in the United States says, yes, at my old job, they replaced me as a writer with an AI. So yeah, two sides of the same coin. It gives and it takes away. So one last thing that I wanted to show you in this study, here is a graph where you can see abstract reasoning on the y-axis and an email addiction tendency on the x-axis. And you can see that this line is tending downwards, this trend line that we see here, which means the higher you scored on the email addiction tendency score, the worse your abstract reasoning capabilities are. And this one about the association between, again, email addiction tendency on the x-axis and depression on the y-axis. We see that the higher you are on the right on this email addiction tendency, there is a slow trend line that goes slightly up. You can see this one is the horizontal line. So the higher you score on email addiction tendency, the worse your depression severity might be. And the last one is the imaging study, which shows a slight upward trend between email addiction and the mean of the gray matter volume of this measured area, which is the rostrolateral prefrontal cortex. And I think this is where the study is a little bit misleading, because more gray matter volume in this area doesn't necessarily mean that the area is performing worse, but this is the brain area that, according to previous studies, that the rostral areas of this lateral prefrontal cortex play an important role in higher levels of cognitive control and abstract representations. So more gray matter volume might actually mean that you have more cognitive control. So this is where I think they are trying to extrapolate something from the data that might not be there. We don't know if it's a causation. We don't know if this is a compensatory mechanism, that your brain is on overdrive trying to compensate for this lack of cognitive engagement that you might have, and the always on nature of you just getting the impulse and just thinking about checking your email again. So the rostral areas of the lateral prefrontal cortex are correlated with abstract processing, organizing behavior according to future considerations like goals or plans, and future-oriented processing. So what we see is there is a difference between how much you use email and how that brain region is structured. And I think there needs to be a lot more research done to see what is actually happening there with the brain, whether it's a causation, whether it's just correlation, whether it's a compensation. We don't really know. But overall, we can see from the studies that this email addiction already is prevalent in young adults who were measured in this study, and it leads to worse mental health outcomes. So now, after this big motivational talk on whether you should or should not be using co-working on the go, let's get you set up. So if you don't see Dispatch here on the top left, that means you need to update your app, and also make sure you update the app on your phone. And now you can see here that I have this co-work on the go. Co-work with your thumbs. Fantastic. So let's click on Get Started. And now it says, and now it shows a QR code that I'm gonna blur out, but it says pair with the Claude mobile app. And on the mobile app, I have this pair with your desktop button at the bottom here. So now it prompts me to set up Dispatch, 3 steps to download the latest version of Claude Desktop. I've done that, sign in, and then go to the Dispatch tab. So I gotta click done here, and Yeah, I think actually I need to scan the QR code here. Wait, oh no, I didn't need to scan the QR code. I just had to click that button that I'm already signed in. And let's see. So I think one of the big limitations of this is that you have to keep your computer awake. So if your computer is with you on the go and it's closed in your bag, then you cannot do this. I'm not going to install Claude in Chrome. I'm not going to give AI access to random websites that might have prompt injections in that. So I'm going to leave that off. And I only have one connector turned on, so that's okay. So finish setup. So Claude, now this is the thing. Claude app would like to access files in your desktop folder. I will not allow this. Claude app would like to access folder in your documents folder. I will not allow that because I want to make sure that Claude can only access stuff that I want it to access. So let's see what's in my downloads folder. Just a quick security check, make sure it cannot see anything that I did not give it access to. So now I have a prompt here on my phone as well as on the desktop here to allow Claude Cowork in downloads, and I'm just gonna deny that. So that's good that it's asking, but it's... So the good thing I love about Cowork is that you can just give it a folder to work in and then it can do nothing else outside that folder. Looks like the folder access prompt was declined. Want me to try again? I wanted to see if you can do it without permission. I'm just gonna quickly check in. What folders do you have access to? Right now, I don't have access to any folders on your computer. I will tell it to find the Claude Cowork folder. But now I already see where this is now a lot worse of a version than what I initially thought. Because I have Claude Cowork set up in a way that I have a folder that I only allow it to work within that. So now you see it wants to read and write access to all files in the root folder. So I'm just gonna quickly deny that. The good thing with Cowork, let me show you, is that if you create a new task, you can work in a folder. So I give it Claude Code working folder. And then I say, what files can you see? Typos are fine. And now it can see what's in there. It finds the Claude MD, all kinds of stuff. It finds my skills, the projects, documents, the Notion board, transcripts, scripts, plugins. It's a different AI dev tasks. It's a project, should be elsewhere, and examples. So this kind of containment, I think, is really missing from Dispatch. And it seems like I only have one ongoing thread. So like I can't even see how I start a new chat. Maybe the /clear command works. No, it doesn't work. I typed in /clear. I can't even find a previous chat. Where is that? Is it this one? No. The user wants to find... Yeah, this is now just sent itself a new prompt. Oh, I see what's happening here. So whenever I send a prompt to Cowork with the dispatch, it just starts a new chat. But yeah, once you give it access to the home directory and ask it to search, it will be able to access all of your home folder, your everything, and it can make a big mess. Oh, here it is. So you need to click on dispatch, and this is where you have your ongoing thread. So I want to figure out how do I give dispatch access only within a folder. But this is the conundrum where you start talking to an AI about its own capabilities, which it wasn't trained on, and then it just doesn't really know. Right now there isn't the setting. Maybe it knows a little bit about its own capabilities. Every session starts fresh and require you to approve folder access when it's requested. It's a security design choice. Okay, but it's not secure if it can access my home folder. Oh, like do I need to have the exact path to that folder on like a keyboard replacement so I can start working within that folder? Okay, let me try that. So I don't know if you knew this, but if you go into any folder in your Finder, you can right click and get the copy Claude Cowork folder as path name. Now I can go back to Cowork and I'll just put it in here because I turned off the handoff copy paste between my Mac and my iPhone. So now it's asking for permission to work within that folder. I will allow it once. Got it. Here is what's inside there. I'm going to ask it to show me the Cowork course slide deck. See if I can actually get some work done on my phone. I'm getting a little bit pissed. Sorry about that. Pulling up the deck now. Give me a sec to parse through the slides. Do you allow access? Yes. Okay. So now what we have here is we have the slides, but like I would want to see it. If it doesn't have the ability to show me the slides, then we are lacking another amazing feature that Cowork has. because let me show you what's happening here. You see that it gave itself a prompt on how to do it. They have the folder at Cowork folder projects, Cowork course. Read the skill file at sessions, worktree name, PowerPoint skill. So the built-in skill, and then access the folder with the PowerPoint file and summarize the contents slide by slide. Oh, don't convert the fucking deck. Oh wait, it's just, okay. It's just converted it into PDF. I hope it didn't mess up the deck itself. So look, inside Cowork, I can see it. Right? I could just open it, side by side view, and let's see if that's even the same deck. Well, it renders terribly because it doesn't have the font, and it's the old version without my changes, but that's fine. I still cannot see it on my phone. So if I'm on the go, I cannot get any work done. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean this to end up in a video where I'm dissing the features of Dispatch, but as an independent person, I have no ties with Anthropic. At least I can say the things that maybe helps to see them, what kind of improvements they should make so that we can actually get some work done. See, it's been going for like a long time and I still cannot see it anywhere here. I can see my previous chats and I can work inside code. So what you can do as an alternative is that instead of having Cowork the Dispatch, you can set up Claude Code from the exact same folders that is your Cowork folder. And then when you open it, instead of having it work locally with the files, make sure you integrate it into your GitHub. And once it's integrated into your GitHub, you can look at like what are the branches you want to work in. And now in this case, I'm working in the Claude Code main dev container. So I can tell it to list all projects, which is not the same as my Cowork folder. So it's going to show us different things. But I think this one also does not have the ability to show me anything really. So maybe let's see if I can look at the landing page and view the last HTML file or something. This folder is empty. Oh my God. Just show me anything, dude. Okay, version 19. Okay, just show me. It's probably not the last version. I should do a better job at keeping track of the files, but let's see if I can see something. Yeah, as Claude Code cannot, I'm maybe asking it for a dumb thing. Did it just serve it on localhost? God damn it. And now it's in the loop. Try either of these. Well, it's obviously not gonna, yeah. Localhost means it's on my computer. It's not on my phone. Okay, so let me show you what you can do with Dispatch. Basically, anything that allows you to view the files that you're making, you will not be able to go through. This guy is still working through the complex response. Okay, I found a task that now we can work on because it only involves Markdown files. So I'm gonna ask it again. Now, obviously, I'm sending it this location from my computer, which is kind of beats the purpose of. Let's assume that I sent it from my phone, which you can see on the left side all the way. So now it's asking for permission. I will allow it. And you can see that the dispatch is already opened this new folder. So actually maybe this is a better side by side. So you can see what I see on my computer and what is actually shown on my phone. But honestly, like, yeah, this is what I would wanted. It is a done for you service offer document and a kickoff questionnaire. And I will say review. Well, can I see the questionnaire? Yeah, now so I see that Claude Dispatch, Cowork Dispatch is just text to text. It cannot show you any files. It just gives me a summary. Like I didn't want a breakdown. I wanted to see all the questions that are in the kickoff call questionnaire. Give me the actual questions. Well, what we can see now is that we're not gonna get addicted to using Claude Dispatch this way because it's fucking useless. Jesus. Now I'm thinking about like how the fuck do I edit the first part of the video? Here's every question. There we go. Oh wait, it's not on my phone yet. And I wonder if now this uses the tokens twice or does it just copy paste everything? So it's done there because if it uses my usage twice, at least to just give me this same response, it should just, that's not good. So I hope it just copy pasted it. No, it actually rewrote the whole thing again. Yeah, look, like question 86, do you use any payment processors? Here it says, do you use any payment processors, Stripe, PayPal, Gumroad, and so on. And the last one is also different. So that means Dispatch uses a model, maybe Haiku or Sonnet, to rewrite or summarize whatever the dispatch thread is here. This is much worse than I thought. So I cannot work with any of my files as a side to side. I can just give a task and then hope it does it well, but I cannot see anything. I couldn't see my slides. I couldn't open this document to see the actual responses or the questions that are in this document. Whereas on my computer, all I need to do is open kickoff questionnaire on the side and I have everything here, right? I can go through it. And what I usually do if I'm working with Markdown files is I just open Obsidian and now I have everything here and I can edit the Markdown. Now here, this is what I see on my computer, but on my phone, it gives me not the exact same things, right? What is question 1? That is the same. Okay, what's the number one thing you want Claude to help you with? If it could only do you one thing, what would it be? That's the same. I wonder if the beginning is the same and then it just, here we go. No, the only difference I see here is question 7. Are you interested in the add-ons, custom skills, make.com, which is like on my phone, put it into the triangular brackets. This is overview. Yeah, so I had a pre-made answer for one of the clients that I was working with on this service, and I left the thing in here, their response. They run a brand agency, but that was not visible. Yeah, that was not visible in Claude's initial response. So it didn't go into all the way to the left to the dispatch response. But I would consider this a hallucination because let's see if it caught that the file actually has one of the pre-made answers. No, it did not show me that. You see on the bottom, a few numbering issues to flag. It didn't flag the issue that one of the answers are already pre-answered in the kickoff call questionnaire. So the right side is my file, the Markdown raw file. This middle one is Claude Cowork's response on me asking, like, give me the full questionnaire, don't summarize, give me the full text. And the left side is what you see dispatch give me. So we can see that we have some data here that I think it's an important thing for a business to know that there is a pre-made answer already in the questionnaire. So I would love to work with Cowork side by, at least just give me the file here where it, like at the bottom, it's like, here's the file, open it. Like how it gave me the Cowork course deck here as a PDF, and I click on it, and I would want the PDF to open on my phone so I can look at it and I can go back to dispatch and tell it what I want. But if I'm on the go, like if I don't see anything here, like let me show you, if this is what I see on the go, then what do I do here? Sure, now I see the full questions. I needed to go through 3 prompts to actually see the full questionnaire. But come on, I think this gets to a point where it gets really frustrating to work with dispatch this way. And I have just found a Telegram chat where I was chatting with Claude Code. This is not Claude Bot or Open Claude. This is me chatting with Claude Code running on my computer while I'm remote. And this is a public add-on that you can get for Claude Code, which allows you to connect it with Telegram without having to have OpenClaw. And this was on January 29th. And you can see that here, I was chatting with it, and at least it shows me the actual document. So I can open the doc, and I can scroll through whatever is in this document. I don't know what this was, but at least I can scroll through. I can see the whole thing, and then I could, and then I can chat with it back and forth. I can ask for links, and then I can open the link if I want to. It actually opens GitHub because it's a GitHub repo. So with all of this, I'm sad, a little bit disappointed to say that Claude Dispatch is not going to be the main way that I interact with Cowork. I mostly work from home. I already have my laptop there, and when I'm on the go, I want to switch off. I already work a lot. When I go to the gym, when I go to walk my dog, when I'm out with my friends, when I go karting, I want to be there. I want to be present. I want to be mindful, and I don't want to be emailing and dispatching things. So this is not a feature for me as it stands right now. If they solve the file viewing and the project folder limitation, so when I open Dispatch, I can manage separate chats and I can select which folder I want Cowork to work in and only that folder, then I might start using it more. With this Telegram bot that I've shown you at the end, it was already a pain to have my laptop running at home while I was away. But right now, I think that Dispatch is not a tool that I'm going to be using. It's not, especially seeing the safety risks that it can ask permissions to open things and to do a lot more stuff than if I force Claude Cowork to only work within a specific folder. And with the potential mental health risks that comes with being addicted to these AI agentic tools and working 24/7, getting worse sleep, I think overall it's just not worth it. This is my verdict. Feel free to challenge me in the comments. I'm going to be there answering. And if you listen to AI to make decisions for you, then here's an AI recommended video from my channel. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.